Hello and welcome to the Machinist News Network. I'm Deirdre Kanievsky. A historic event took place recently at the Winpisinger Center when 37 women from 25 different countries gathered to change the future. These are the faces of the women in the international labor movement.
Vengo de la Asociación Sindical de Sobrecargos de Aviación
Hello,
de
I'm
México.
Freda Kobiaba Ogo from Ghana.
مرحبا أنا اسمي سوسن نفيعي أنا من
Saya
نقابة
Lindra,
النقل
saya dari Serikat Pekerja Terminal Peti Kemas Koja Jakarta, Indonesia.
37 women from 25 countries gathered at the Winpisinger Center to learn to become better union leaders. It was the first of its kind, organized by the International Transport Workers Federation and hosted by the Machinists Union. For these women, it was a life-changing experience, both personally and professionally.
They're looking at planning for organizing. They're looking at how to work out what strategic targets are. So they're learning some very specific campaigning skills and organizing skills. We're also looking at things you need to know for leadership, tricks and ways of boosting confidence and building networks of supporters, because sometimes women in leadership, particularly in areas where maybe they're not so numerous, can be very isolated. So we need to build networks of support to help.
For a woman, building these networks of support can be very important in the workforce. Sharing experiences and knowledge from around the world became the driving theme of the week. These women quickly realized they were not alone in their struggles.
Here we are, you're looking at, 35 women from all different countries, and what's their main issue when you talk to them? They're all going on about childcare, we need family leave.
It was great because women have more or less the same problems, the same needs.
You can be living in India, in Pakistan, in Botswana, in France, or in America, or in Argentina. We are facing the same problem. It's so amazing, isn't it?
In most of the world, men still make up the majority of the labor movement. But that's changing. Already around the globe, women are taking the lead.
My belief is that the 21st century is going to be the century for women.
Former Maryland Lieutenant Governor Kathleen Kennedy Townsend came by to share some of her stories of what it's like being a leader in what can sometimes seem like a man's world. She found this out when she ran for Congress in the 80s.
Many people who I was running for said, oh, how can you work? How can you run for Congress? Why aren't you taking care of your children? What kind of mother are you? Aren't you being a good mother? Why aren't you paying attention to them? Of course, I pointed out that when my father ran for president, he had 10 children. Nobody ever asked him, why aren't you paying attention to your children?
The audience definitely related to these stories.
When I was the general secretary of the airport, that I wasn't a good mother because I wasn't at home, and I spent lots of time with workers and on strike and also abroad. And so sometimes they manage to make you feel guilty yourself because you think, well, perhaps they're right. Perhaps I should be at home. But why should I be at home? My husband is at home, for instance, and I wasn't born with a Hoover in my hands,
At initial stage, it was so hard because we born in that type of cultures that we think that it's not the field for the women. But slowly when I learned and when I got educated from the trade unionists, I think, okay, it's our field too. We are also the workers.
The women in the class say hearing the same stories from women who live thousands of miles away, some in countries they had never heard of before, was a very empowering situation. They now understand more than ever why unions need to join arms.
You have always the inspiration, really. You have the inspiration, the motivation, and the tools. It's very important.
What's good about being involved nationally and internationally with other unions is the fact that why reinvent the wheel when other people have already been there?
We need to build links. We can only have justice and rights for workers in the developed countries if we fight for justice and rights for workers in the rest of the world.
And ask any one of them, and they will tell you this week was a huge success. It was on a bus ride to Baltimore with the ladies that Sarah Fink knew this time together was working.
When they were all singing in their different languages, but the same songs. They were singing "We Shall Overcome."
Most hope the Machinists Union continues on this international path year after year after year.
I wish I could stay 6 months. If I can have my cat and daughter, my husband can stay, I can survive.
It's absolutely fabulous. It's my dream come true to see so many sisters working on the same problems and topics we do, and really energizing. It's really enjoyable and a fantastic week, and I'm so excited to be here.
In the end, the women agreed that in order to succeed, they need the support of their brothers and their unions. They say the best thing a woman leader can have is a group of supportive men in her corner. For more Machinist news, you can log on to goiam.org. See you soon.